Hi, I welcome you all in this unique initiative of YuktMind 10 minutes and newspaper done. We'll be covering today's The Hindu newspaper. You can download the PDF of these news from our website www.yuktmind.com or also from our Telegram channel, the link of which is given in description below. Let's get started. We'll be covering 9 news today, starting with reservation for backward classes in urban local bodies of Haryana, news about Shri Venkateshwara temple, the Naxalite threat, lack of drug recall law in India, and regulations to curtail misleading food ads, new quad meet, MiG 21 crash, news about ST list, and finally, the India ASEAN military exercise news. The first news is Haryana government's decision to announce reservation for backward classes in urban local bodies. The Haryana government's decision is based on Haryana Backward Class Commission headed by retired Justice Darshan Singh's report. It said the Block A caste of backward classes of Haryana are not adequately represented. So it has recommended for providing reservation without breaching the Supreme Court imposed overall cap of 50% for reservation. So let us see some constitutional provisions for providing reservation for OBCs in urban local bodies. Although Article 243T makes a provision for reservation of seats in urban local bodies, it only provides for reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in every municipality. And by 94th Constitutional Amendment Act, the Parliament provided for not less than one third of the total number of seats reserved for women. However, there is a provision under subclause 6 of Article 243, wherein a state legislature can provide for reservation in municipalities in favor of backward class of citizens. And also, recently, by 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 2018, the Parliament of India has provided constitutional status to National Commission for Backward Classes. Now, the second news is about Shri Venkateshwara temple. It has been in news recently because of visit of our president to it, and recently a video recording incident. So, the Shri Venkateshwara Swami temple is situated in the hill town of Tirumala at Tirupati in Tirupati district of Andhra Pradesh. The temple is constructed in Dravidian architecture and is believed to be constructed over a period of time starting from 300 AD. The Griha, that is Sanctum Sanctorum, is called Ananda Nilayam. The presiding deity, that is Venkateshwara, is in standing posture and faces east in Griha. Please remember these details. These can be asked in a prelims question. Some additional information about the temple. The temple follows Vakansha Agama tradition of worship. And the temple is one of the 8 Vishnu Swayambha Kshetras and is listed as 106th and the last early Divya Desham. And a related news, Tirupati Laddu, the renowned sweet which is enriched with dried fruits and nuts is has been given a GI tag. The third news, the moist are still a threat. Background, on April 26th of this year, 10 personnel of District Reserve Guard, that is DRG, and a civilian driver was killed in a blast, which the police said was caused by an improvised explosive device, that is IED, planted by Maoists near Aranpur village in Dantewada, Chhattisgarh. So this attack, like many of the proscribed group's previous attacks, was carried out during the tactical counter-offensive campaign. What is tactical counter-offensive campaign? It is a period between February and June every year when the Maoists carry out maximum attacks against security forces. So, out of total of 17 major attacks in Chhattisgarh between 2010 to 2023, two were carried out in February, four in March, six in April, two in May, and one each in June, November, and December. So, what are the suggestions? The data clearly points out to a pattern that may give enough leads to plan strategy to counter such attacks by government. Most importantly, it is imperative that the security forces remain extra cautious during the months of these tactical counter-offensive campaign by strictly adhering to SOPs, that is standard operating procedures and protocols. The government may also pay attention to perception management. A case in point is the extensive road construction projects in Bastar. The message may be that these projects will ease the life of local population rather than saying that these projects will enhance the reach of security forces. Also, the futility of Maoist ideology in current times needs to be adequately exposed to weaken the insurgency. You can write this as way forward in internal security questions. Fourth news is regarding lack of drug recall law in India. And the background is on April 25, a board, MNC, published a public notice in newspapers alerting people about a mislabeled batch of medicine that it had inadvertently shipped to the market. While such recall take place regularly in the United States, such recalls are not there in India for substandard or mislabeled drugs in India. Is there a drug recall law in India? India has been mulling the creation of a mandatory recall law for substandard drugs since 1976, and yet no law exists that mandates such medicines to be removed from the market to this day. Now, the fifth news is what are the regulations to curtail misleading food ads in India? The background on April 29, the Advertisement Monitoring Committee at the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, that is FSI, flagged 32 fresh cases of food business operators, that is FBOs, making misleading claims and advertisements. So, what are the regulations in India? There are varied regulations to combat misleading advertisements and claims. Some are broad, while others are product specific. So FSI uses the Food Safety and Standards Advertising and Claims Regulations of 2018, which specifically deals with food and related products, while the Central Consumer Protection Authority, that is CCPA's regulation cover goods, products, and services. It's a broad regulation. Further, the program and advertising codes prescribed under the Cable Television Network rules of 1994 stipulates that advertisement must not imply that the products have some special or miraculous or supernatural property or quality which is difficult of being proved. The FSI seeks that advertisements and claims be truthful, unambiguous, meaningful, and not misleading, and help consumers to comprehend the information provided. The claims must be scientifically substantiated by validated methods of characterizing or quantifying the ingredients or substance that is the basis for the claim. So, a lot of labeling has been done for food products in market. So, there are regulations for each of them. A food product can be referred to as natural if it is a single food derived from a recognized natural source and has nothing added to it. Composite foods, which are essentially a mixture of plant and processed constituents, cannot call themselves natural. Instead, they can say made from natural ingredients. Fresh can be used for products which are not processed in any manner other than washing, peeling, chilling, trimming, cutting, or irradiation by ionizing radiation, not exceeding 1 kgy or any other processing such that it remains safe for consumption and with basic characteristics unaltered. Those with additives may instead use fresh frozen, or frozen from fresh to contextualize that it was quickly frozen while fresh. Pure is to be used for single ingredient foods to which nothing has been added and which are devoid of all avoidable contamination, while unavoidable contaminants are within prescribed controls. Original is used to describe food products made to a formulation with a traceable origin that has remained unchanged over a period of time. They do not contain replacements for any major ingredients. It may similarly be used to describe a unique process which has remained unchanged over time, although the product may be mass produced. Now, about the nutritional claims. Nutrition claims may either be about the specific content of a product or comparisons with some other foodstuff. Claims of equivalence, such as contains the same nutrient as a food or as much nutrient as a food, may be used in the labeling provided that it gives the equivalent nutritional value as the reference food. So we move on to our sixth news in what is being billed as another important quad in West Asia. Saudi Prince and Prime Minister hosted a special meeting of the National Security Advisors of India, US, UAE, and Saudi Arabia to consider regional initiatives on infrastructure. So, what is the background? According to expert, it is meant to provide a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative and other inroads in the region. Recently, China has been very active in West Asia, wherein it has facilitated a deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which has led to peace in Syria. Now, the seventh news in an unfortunate incident, three civilians were killed as MiG 21 crashes into a Rajasthan house. The MiG 21 was inducted into the Indian Air Force in early 1960s, and since then, more than 800 variants of the supersonic fighter were inducted into service. It remained the frontline fighter jet for the force for a long time. However, during this period, there were over 400 accidents involving the jet, which claimed the lives of around 200 pilots. So, we need overhauling or modernization of our plane fleet. Now, the 8 News Chief Justice Chandrachud orally said a High Court does not have the power to direct changes to the scheduled tribes list. It is a presidential power to designate a scheduled tribes or scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. So, it is not open to state governments or courts or tribunals or any other authority to modify, amend, or alter the list of scheduled tribes specified in the notification issued under Clause 1 of Article 345. The Constitution Bench in State of Maharashtra versus Milind had held in November 2000. So let us read about Article 342. So under Article 342, Clause 1, the President may notify any tribal community to be included in the scheduled tribes in relation to state or union territory as the case may be. And the subclause 2 provides that Parliament can include or exclude any tribal community from the scheduled tribes list. Now, the final news of the day: Chinese boats cross Indian and ASEAN ships during military exercise. What is the background? The 2 day sea phase of the ASEAN India maritime exercise called AIM 2023 began on this Sunday with naval ships and aircraft from India, Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Brunei taking part. So, it has been disturbed by boats belonging to a Chinese maritime militia, which approached an area where the navies of India and ASEAN countries were taking part in drills in the South China Sea. So, China is trying to scuttle every formation or any partnership in South China Sea. Thank you for watching this video. You can download the PDF of these news from our website www.yuktmind.com, or you can download the PDF from our Telegram channel, the link of which is given in description below. Thank you.